Hello homeschool moms, and welcome back to another Look in the Book video. These are videos where I give you a peek inside different homeschool curriculum, and today we are going to be looking at Memoria Press Copybook, and this is book 2. So I'm just going to turn the camera around in just a minute, flip through the pages, and give you a look inside. Now this is not a full review, and I just don't feel like I could do a full review of this book for two reasons. Number one, I am still getting familiar with Memoria Press's Penmanship series. They've got Penmanship and copybooks, and I'm still learning what the difference between all of those are, and so I just don't feel like I give you good enough information and do Memoria Press their curriculum justice, so didn't want to do a full review yet. Also, I am not using this copybook the way it is intended to be used, which to me is a benefit of homeschooling. I don't have to be tied to a curriculum in a certain way. I can use it how it's going to work best for my child and for my family. However, when I show you inside, they do have teaching guidelines and instructions on how to make the most of this copybook. I think it looks phenomenal. I think it would be a great program if we actually did it the way it's intended. It's just not what we needed this year for my child this year in our homeschool. I also wanted to let you know that they have a wall chart that I went ahead and purchased with this copybook. It has all the letters in manuscript and cursive, and it's been a great addition to our homeschool room and been really helpful for my kids that are just starting to learn how to form their letters and learning their letters and the difference, the way they look differently in cursive and manuscript. So you might want to check that out if you decide to go with any of Memoria Press's Penmanship or copybook series. Anyways, without further ado, let's turn the camera around and take a look inside Memoria Press Copybook 2. This is book 2 in the Memoria Press Copybook series. It does cover manuscript and cursive, and one of the things that I like about it is that it is spiral bound. That makes it a lot easier, I think, for students because the book opens up flat, lays a little bit more flat, makes it easier for them to practice their penmanship in it. Now this is the table of contents, and as you can see, there is an introduction for the parent, there's some teaching guidelines, recommended schedule, student guidelines, there is line and letter practice, and practice strokes and letters. And as you can see, this is optional, but what I like about this is reproducible. And so you can copy these pages up here, the practice strokes and letters, as many times as you want, and your student can use those pages over and over again to practice. I did not see that until I went to do this look in the book, and so I already had my student write on those pages. I wish I had seen that and made note of that. A good reason to kind of flip through a book before you actually dive in and use it. The rest of the workbook is divided up into these different sections. We have 5/8 of an inch line size. These selections will be written in manuscript on 5/8 of an inch lines. The next section is on 1/2 inch lines, and that is also in manuscript. Then your student's going to be getting even smaller lines. That's going to be 3/8 of an inch line in manuscript as well. And then they move to 3/8 of an inch line size in cursive. So just this small section at the end is in cursive. The rest of it is mostly focusing on manuscript and practicing their manuscript handwriting. As you can see, the majority of the things that your student will be copying are Bible passages. There are a few other selections such as Frogs at School, January Brings the Snow, and then Tired Tim, and some other ones here for cursive, but the majority of them are Bible passages. Now over here in the introduction, it does tell you a little bit about what a copybook actually is, and then it lets you know that the passages that your student is going to be copying are taken from the King James Version of the Bible, so you can read about that here. They also have some really helpful teaching guidelines if you plan on using the copybook the way that it's intended to be used, and these guidelines are going to be really helpful. They have seven different steps for you to follow in implementing this curriculum. And then what I love and think is really helpful is this recommended schedule. As you can see, it is intended for 33 weeks of school, and it breaks what you're supposed to do each day of the week down right here, and these correspond to the steps that are mentioned over here in the guidelines. So I found when I looked at this, I thought this was really set up nicely and looked really easy to follow. Again, like I said, I'm not using it this way, but looks like a great option, and I love how it's all scheduled out and set up really easily for you. We also have the student guidelines and the line and letter practice, and then we get into the copybook portion that your student's going to be doing. As you can see, my child has already started copying and practicing their letters here. And so this is just kind of a review and an optional section if your student is still needing some extra work or needing to learn how to actually write in print. So let's skip over to where the copybook actually starts, the copybook section. So here is a little poem here, Frogs at School, and your student's going to be copying those on these larger lines. So I'll just flip through that real quick. Now let me show you the next size of lines here. So we're going to move from kind of these bigger ones. Here are the next size of lines. Here they're going to be copying a passage from Genesis 3:20. As you can see, there are space for them to draw a picture based on what they are copying in their copybook. And so I'll just flip through those real quick. And then the lines get even smaller. So here we are with some smaller lines, but still practicing manuscript writing. And then eventually it does move into cursive in the very back. So here now we are using cursive and the smaller dotted lines. So that's just a quick look inside of the Memoria Press Copybook. If you have used this copybook or any of the Penmanship or copybook series from Memoria Press, leave a comment down below and let us know what you thought about it. Like I said, this is not a full review, but I'm sure people watching this video would love to hear input from other moms about what they thought about this curriculum. So I hope this was helpful for you. Make sure to check out some of my other Look in the Books videos on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much.